We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Friday, and we have Will back with us. It's been a little while because I know you've been doing some things and maybe not feeling so well, but we're glad to have you back. We're
Thank you, Mike.
anxious to embrace your passion and your perceptions of what's going
Yeah,
on because it's fucking
um,
nuts.
yeah, it's fucking nuts. I mean, it's not. I don't even know what passion. Like I said in a couple of videos, I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days, over the weekend, and then just kind of getting back into the groove. And it's been just like you kind of sit there. I'm at the point where I'm going, oh, Trump fucks up. It's a day with a Y in it. There we go.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, that's just every. It's just every day. Um,
Wait,
and
well,
you just
the
don't.
the big story we were talking about was when the three judge panel came back and said, "Yeah, your tariffs are all fucking illegal. You're going to have to stop
Yeah,
them, and you're going to have to pay these people back." And then today we had this federal judge put a temporary pause on stopping the tariffs, but ultimately. The tariffs won't go forward. I think the deadline on this federal court, the pause is July 9th or June
yeah.
9th. And that's going to be embarrassing for this
Well,
government to have to pay all this shit back with interest.
you see, here's the problem with that. The hardest thing for all of us, and I'm beginning to realize that courts do take time.
Right.
But I'm also starting to hear from a lot of federal courts and federal judges, they're starting to get pissed.
They're getting sick of this shit.
They're getting sick of this shit. One of the examples, and I'm going to talk about um, the whole thing in Jersey with the congressman getting arrested.
Right.
She said, let's go to court. Yeah, because when Elena Haba showed up in court originally, the federal judge was giving her shit,
Yeah.
big time shit, because you don't know how to behave in a federal court. And you don't see the thing about it, they don't get it. They don't want to, they're upset at judges because judges go in and they go, we are the Trump administration. And the judge going, I don't give a fuck. This is my court. And
Right.
in my court, I'm God.
Right. Exactly.
Period. In discussion, you will do what I say. She does not want to go. I will guarantee you they will drop the charges on the congressman probably soon. Because when
I
they
agree
get to
with you.
court, if she takes that to court, oh, she's going to get hammered. She's a lousy lawyer. She's not a lawyer. She's a joke.
And
She
now she's a
just,
district prosecutor. But
yeah,
you know how I know they don't want to go to court is because before they filed the charges, they went to the representative and said, "Well, we don't want to put you through this, so if you just confess to it and say you're sorry and do all this stuff, because it's all about perception to them. They don't want to go to court because they'll look like fools."
well,
And the
yeah,
rep said, "Fuck you, let's go to court," because she
let's go to
knows
court.
better.
Because I'm guessing she probably is a lawyer.
Yeah.
And you're going to walk into court. She knows how courts. The problem with people like Elena Haba and whatever, Judge Janine, they really don't know how the system works.
No,
Again,
they don't.
like I've said many times here in all my videos, it's lethal cosplay. They are playing at this, have no idea what they're doing, and they're starting to get pressure. And when they get pressure, they do stupid things.
Right.
Cash Patel, have you heard anything from him? I haven't heard
Not
anything.
much.
He's got his assistant. What is that? Dan Bongini, whatever that guy that
Yeah,
looks
Dan
like,
Bongino. Yeah,
yeah, looks like a reject from The Sopranos.
yeah.
Um, I mean, he has no idea what he's gotten himself into. And I'll tell you one thing: the reason they don't know about, because I know seasoned FBI agents are going, "Can you get some help?" No, I can't help you. That's your problem. I know they're not stepping up. I
No,
know they're
no.
not. They're hanging them out to dry. Also, like what was it? I just saw a report that they're moving FBI agents from shadowing possible Chinese or Russian spies to chase down immigration.
Right,
They're spending all this money on immigration because they're desperate. They're desperate to keep up some kind of appearance. They don't, but they keep going after soft targets. Going arresting a woman. I just saw the video. Arresting a woman who shows up at her immigration hearing to deport her, and she's fighting 3 grown men fighting 1 woman.
Right.
Tells you all you need to know: A, you're cowards, and 2, that's their soft targets. They're going after people who were going to have a hearing for immigration. All of a
Right.
sudden, their hearing's been rejected. Now they're being arrested. It's
Well,
ridiculous.
that's what I was going to bring up is they seem to be getting buried with their incompetence. I mean, they're cruel and they're dystopian and they're anti-democratic and all that stuff. But the incompetence is really starting to show. Let me give you some examples.
Mm-hmm.
RFK Jr. put out his new report from the Health and Human Services Department. It was riddled with mistakes. I mean, just stupid mistakes. And then they attributed certain parts of the report to certain authors, and then reporters went to those authors, and the author said, I never wrote that. I never
Nope.
said that. I mean, it's absolutely a joke. Dan Bongino goes on and does an interview. He looks like he's about ready to cry. He goes, I gave up everything to do this. I'm in there all day looking at the 4 walls of my cubicle or whatever. We're working hard. But the problem is the questions they were asking the FBI, they're now getting asked, and they can't answer.
Yep.
When they asked him about Jeffrey Epstein, no, he committed suicide. Well, that's not what you said for the last 4 years. You said something was being hidden, and now you're not talking about it. Uh, Carolyn Levitt, when she goes on, have you seen her lately? She's breathing hard. She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing.
Oh,
This
she got.
incompetence is really getting
She
to
is.
them.
That I had been calling her the bubble-headed police fawn that comes out at 5 from the Don Henley song.
Right.
No, someone came out with a better term for her based on the Handmaid's Tale. They're calling her of Donald Levitt. And if you know what the Handmaid's Tale is, it's basically the commanders, the women that they have stolen. Their first name is of the name of the commander, of Donald. But she got burned because she caught in that video with a black Capitol police officer trying to
Right.
stand next to her, and she kept trying to itch away from him. Oh, that didn't look good, but it's par for the course. We
It
understand.
is. Well, and the incompetence extends over to Donald Trump too. He keeps going to court. He keeps losing. He keeps claiming that this is the right thing to do, and he keeps getting told he's wrong. This tariff things. This is a huge embarrassment. Now, we all knew that the tariffs weren't legal unless they went through Congress, but he just decided to do them and do them and do them. And then we get this decision from these 3 judges on this trade panel. And I want people to know something.
Hmm.
Everybody says, when is Congress going to do something? When is Congress going to do something? And now they're relieved that this panel said it's illegal. Congress had nothing to do with that.
Right,
These were all small businesses or state attorney generals that brought these cases.
right.
That's what did it, not Congress.
Yeah, Congress is basically what people voted for. You voted for these Republicans to go there and support Donald Trump. You're getting
Right.
what you voted for. Yeah, I was watching part of your interview with Eric, and he
Yeah.
brought up Iowa and that one woman. Man, lady, first of all, she doesn't care. Quick side note: we're going to come back to incompetency, but the whole thing about the big beautiful bill, which we always said, why do you want to jump on that third rail of Medicaid and then throw in Medicare through some machinations? So you have to
Right.
cut Medicare too, and why would you do it? That's suicide, right?
It
You know
is.
it, I know it. But to listen to that lady say, "Yeah, we're just cutting budget because we're people spending money." It was monotone bullshit. It was all gaslighting. They do not fear their electorate. They
Well,
don't fear them.
I wonder if it's that they don't fear him or they fear Donald Trump more. Because I got to tell you, when you watch these town halls, especially with that woman in Iowa, they were tearing her to shreds.
But she
Uh,
doesn't care. You saw
well,
that.
she's
She
going to
just
have to
sitting
care.
there.
She'll be out of a fucking
But
job.
see, that's the thing. They're thinking. I have 2 ways. I don't buy in that we're just not going to vote. They're going to take away the election rest on the midterms. I'm not buying that bullshit.
No,
Sorry, not happening.
no.
What? And I do believe that there was a lot of protests against the bill until Trump showed up and stepped on some necks,
Right.
primary and all that, blah 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 blah. I think they're really counting on. This is my take. Maybe I'm wrong. They're really counting on when we get to next November, not this one, next one, and they see the candidate and everything, they can run on the same bullshit because that electorate is so conditioned that all Democrats are evil and woke that it doesn't matter if they cut their Medicaid, their Medicare, and their Social Security. As long as it's a Democrat, they will still vote for the Republican. I'm guessing that's their mentality because
Well,
that's the
maybe
only thing that makes sense to me.
that's that may or may not be their mentality right now, but when they get a chunk taken out of their ass and they're struggling, they'll vote for fucking anybody. We know what people will do when they're in pain. They'll do
Right.
anything they can to stop the pain. And if the Republicans think that they can save themselves at the last minute or that they'll just forget about it, I don't think that's true. I mean, we've seen it before, where things happen with parties, and there's a mass exodus from those parties. Uh, I think they're scared of Donald Trump. Like for example, some of these guys saying, "Yeah, I don't think you've cut far enough." I think that's a ploy too. I think they don't want to vote for the bill because they don't want to have to go back to their constituents, but they don't want to go against Donald Trump. So to show they're tough, they're going to say, we should make bigger cuts. We should make bigger cuts. And then they won't vote for it. And Donald Trump will say, what's going on? Well, I don't think it was tough enough. And Donald Trump will say, yeah, you're right. It wasn't tough enough. It's all a fucking game.
I mean, I caught Chip Royzak saying that we're cutting Medicaid because that it's a Ponzi scheme because they're taking from the red states to support Medicaid for the blue states. Basically, he's doing the old trope. Yeah, white people are paying for those black folk in Chicago and the Mexicans in L.A. and all those people in those ghettos place because they're taking your money to live high off the hog. We know that's bullshit, but that's what I think that goes back to what we said a moment ago. If they play that card, they still may come out. And also, they're counting on the incompetence of the Democratic Party, which is a good thing to count on
Well, yeah,
anytime, day or night. Understand, how did that vote get through? By
right.
one vote. Isn't there one dead congressman already, and two other
Three.
sick three,
I think it's
three,
three. Yeah.
three. Okay, yeah, that's what we talk about age limits, dumb fucks. This
Well,
is
that's
not
why we
about
say
going
get rid of
after
the older
power.
guys. You got to
Yeah,
get
that's
rid of
not
the
going
old
at.
people and bring in young
Yeah,
people.
I mean, Jerry Connolly, God rest his soul, 75. He dies of. If he was alive, it's a tie.
Yeah.
It's a fucking tie. But he's not alive, and then you're fighting the wrong people. You're fighting the wrong people. So let's go back to what I just said a moment ago. Their confidence that their core people will vote for them regardless. They could be poor, they could lose their health care, they could be eating dirt. But as long as they support Trump, they'll vote for him. And also, Democrats are too stupid to do anything about it.
Well,
I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
if there are people out there that will vote for them regardless, no matter how much pain they're going through, all I can say is they deserve the pain. If you can't get out of the way of a speeding bus, then you deserve to get fucking run over. Um, but but I'm not worried about the base so much. I'm worried about more the more moderate Republicans that know better. They voted for a Republican because that's all they voted for.
Hmm.
Now their option is: are you going to close your businesses? Are you going to get rid of your health care? There are some relatively reasonable minded Republicans that understand what's going on, and we're seeing them in these town halls. They're going, "What the
Really?
fuck?" Yeah,
Oh, well, they show up. I mean, again, I'm being cynical because they're doing what they said they wouldn't do
right.
and just embracing it. I mean, literally laying down the third rail and hugging it and saying, we're going to do it because they are confident, even in the moderate Republicans, that if you put a Democrat in front of them, they still won't do it.
But
They
don't
still
you think
won't
it's,
do it.
don't think you, I don't know if it's more of a pathology or it's just catering to Donald Trump, fear of Donald Trump, whatever, fear of getting a primary. The fact of the matter is, primary should be the least of their worries. Eric and I were talking about this,
Right.
and we still feel that at some point the Republicans will see that it's gone too far, and they will have to back away from him, and they'll have to do it in mass in order for him
What
not to be able to do
Republicans?
anything.
What
Well, that's
Republicans? I
good.
mean, you saw that whole thing in Congress. These who does hearings at 1 in the morning? Who does hearings at 1 in the morning? Are people who are trying to hide shit?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I
Exactly.
remember when Democrats would come out with bills, and there would be a lot of pages. They go, "This is too much to read." Yeah, then you drop this multi-thousand-page thing on us, and we're finding out, oh, tanning bed. All of a sudden, you tax us for tanning beds, and then,
Yeah.
oh, you're trying to take away federal judges' power. I mean, you're starting going through the, and you were complaining about Democrats not being forthwith.
Yeah.
Oh, you motherfuckers. I
Well,
mean, it's just ridiculous at this point with these
at this
guys.
point, don't you get a sense though that they're kind of scrambling? They're
Oh, they're
not they're
desperate.
they're not cohesive, they're not unified. They're scrambling, just trying to get whatever they can get out of this. I just don't honestly think this bill is going to pass the Senate. Certainly not the way it
I
sits now.
hope not. The Senate is like, you don't know what. I mean, Josh Hawley came out against that bill about Medicaid and
Yeah.
admitted his state's a Medicaid state. And I
Yeah.
said, and I had to stop a second and make sure I wasn't like over medicating myself or something because I couldn't believe it. And the first thing that came out of my mouth was two words: hypocrite, liar.
Right.
Sorry, your proof is in the pudding.
But at least
Because are
he's
you
smart enough. At least he's
good?
smart enough to understand that if they take away Medicaid, he's out of a fucking job. He's smart enough to know that, and that's why he's fighting for it.
All right. And the thing about it is like, yeah, I guess. I mean, and Ron Johnson's saying stuff he doesn't want about the bill, but I think he's in that we need to cut more
Yeah, he is.
thing. Yeah. Yeah, Ron, shut the fuck up. But the thing about it's weird because you have like everyone, I want everyone to take a deep breath because I need to make an announcement. Tommy Tuberville is going to run for governor of Alabama. Yay, enjoy that. That
Yeah.
man is dumb, dumb, beyond dumb, dumb.
He,
He was dumb as
if
a football coach, and they didn't,
if he,
and they knew that.
if he was a governor of Alabama, he would make Ron DeSantis look like FDR.
Oh my
Honest to God,
god!
he's dumber
Eh,
and he's more egregious about the shit he's going to do. Go ahead, Alabama, vote that motherfucker
But
governor.
see that tracks for Alabama. Meanwhile, in Georgia, I got two senators that are on the front. They are on the front of this fight. I've seen Reverend Warnock. I've seen John Ossoff. They're up and fighting. And by the way, they're already there's some advertising against John Ossoff here. Some MAGA guy, blaming him for borders and this and cutting. So I'm like, dude, really? You're gonna go there with John Ossoff? No. Good
Who's
luck
gonna
with
run
that.
for governor in Georgia? Who's gonna run for governor in Georgia?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene says she wants to run for governor. Please do that. Please do it.
Yeah, yeah, let us get a
Please.
Democrat in there.
I mean, I don't know. The Democratic Party in Georgia still has issues. They got a boost from Stacey Abrams. That's why we ended up with the two senators. It's going to be hard to remove incumbents, even as Democrats. Really hard, especially these two guys, because we're not dealing with older senators or not smart guys. These are smart guys with big
Yeah,
bases.
yeah.
Reverend Warnock, and who's not going to be up for reelection, but his base is huge. He'll campaign for John Ossoff. John Ossoff's base is good size, and people listen to him. And let's face it, he's a good-looking man. He's smart. He talks about Georgia and what he's going to do for Georgians. That's his
Yeah.
speeches. And that's the biggest thing you hear from these fucking town halls. They don't come back to these places and go, I did this for you. They said, I did this for Trump.
Right.
Fuck you. Because again, you elected me to support Trump, not represent you. And they keep forgetting that. And that's why they're finding out, hey, FAFO, brothers, that's what you
Well,
got.
what's funny? When I hear at these town halls and these Republicans get asked hard questions, why are you doing this? Why is this going on? What are you doing about Donald Trump breaking the laws and going against the
Mm.
Constitution? You know what their answer is? Their answer is, well, we've got a mandate and they voted for Donald Trump and we're just going to do what Donald Trump tells us. I don't think people in states want to hear that, especially if
No.
their states are being marginalized because of the shit that Donald Trump is doing.
And it was that's what they sold. Again, short memory, guys. You did vote for that.
Yeah.
Every one of those people ran on that platform. Even the one, what was it? The one congresswoman, I think it's at Iowa, that won her seat by 837 votes,
Yeah.
who voted for the bill and was asked, those questions and walked away from the reporter really quickly. Tick, 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 tick,
Right.
tick, tick.
Right. Right.
She still thinks she has a mandate for Trump. She thinks those 837 are going to breed themselves into a 2,000 person win. See, that's again going back to what we're talking about, and is that's what bugs me, that these guys are so confident that their
Yeah.
electorate will turn around and vote for them again, even though they've caused entire disasters in their districts because they
Well,
supported Trump, and that's all they need. That's
if
a
if the
scary
Democrat
fucking thought.
if the Democrats can't win in 2026 in the midterms, at least the House and possibly the House in the state, I'm at a point where I just got to say there's no hope. There's
Because
fucking no hope.
again,
I mean, what do you got to do to people to get them to vote for their own best interest?
I don't know. We've been asking that for a decade now. Hell,
Yeah.
longer,
Yeah.
longer. That they just don't know. I mean, and again, going back to the incompetency we see every day of the government
Yeah.
falling apart. I mean, air traffic control, basic stuff. I mean, do you know that RFK stopped a payment to Moderna
Yeah.
for flu research for the next flu vaccines?
The bird flu vaccines. Yeah.
No, no,
And,
no, just everything.
okay.
Bird flu, the regular regular one that mutates, even any kind of he pulled the plug. This man's insane. He's not even incompetent. He's just crazy. Fucking crazy. I'd rather have a witch doctor running it because they probably have more sense than this guy.
Well,
I mean,
I heard a story that they canceled the bird flu vaccine, and then they arranged for ostriches that have been exposed to the bird flu to be brought to Dr. Oz for some fucking reason. Let's not worry about the country. Let's not worry about the sick people in this country. Let's make sure Dr. Oz has fucking ostriches.
again, wasting our money. It's lethal cosplay with a checkbook. I
Yeah.
mean, the money they're spending is ridiculous. We know there's money being spent. I mean, every time he goes out to play golf, do you remember in a hearing, Christine Nome asked for a new aircraft, and they asked, why?
Yeah.
Why do you need an aircraft? Well, I have to get around to see why. No DHS secretary before is needing an aircraft. I
Yeah.
mean, if you need an aircraft, you take commercial. I mean, you don't need a personal aircraft. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Well,
I
she's
mean,
clearly not the brightest person in the
well,
world.
it's not.
When
It's
she didn't
again.
know when she didn't know what habeas corpus was, we should have taken a fucking clue from that and got her the fuck out of there.
And I mean, and again, this is all. We are in the biggest fucking reality show ever.
Yeah.
It's a
It's silly.
bad. It's silly. I mean, and the thing about it is, as you watch Trump, I mean, he seems totally unhinged. That's a madman. I'm sorry. That man ain't there, period.
Yeah.
And he's pissy and he's touchy. And the question all the reporter asked him, what's your reaction to let's put it this way. There's two groups of people who are assholes, total petty assholes. Those are 6-year-old boys on a playground and finance bros when they were
Yeah.
having dinner in New York.
Yeah.
Calling Trump, what is it? Taco stands for Trump always chickens out.
Chickens out. Yeah.
You know, some drunk guy in Wash in a hedge fund came and it just spread across it. The finance bros aren't happy, and they dropped that, and it got out. And when they asked Trump that, I mean, it's like watching it's like watching uh, Back to the Future. Chicken called
Yeah.
him chicken, and he flipped out.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
flipped
that
out.
stuck, that truly stung him, and I think it put him back on his heels, and he didn't know what to say, so he just starts babbling and goes off on tangents as he does, and I think we need to take note of that. And this is what I've always said: if you want to get to Donald Trump, impugn his masculinity, or whether he's smart, or whether he's successful, whether he's a loser. People should keep asking these questions because he will spin out of control if you keep doing that.
He's I mean, I think the one thing that I mean, as I said to a lot of people, and some people have it on the videos, a couple of ones I've done. Oh, rough Memorial Day weekend. Family left for vacation, which is fine, but I got something wrong with my mouth. It laid me out. It was
Yeah.
bad. I mean, Thursday I was in bed all day. It was bad. I've gotten better in kind of sense, but Memorial Day is something basically kickoff of the summer. But you had the memorization of the remembrance of those who gave their lives for
Right.
this country, and they're solemn affairs. I'm
Right.
sorry, when you lay a wreath, that's a solemn affair. When you talk about someone a memorial, it's a solemn affair. Um, but what started off when Trump goes to West Point for the commencement speech, I'm like, they showed a couple of speeches for like Obama's speech and other ones talking
Right.
about service, talking about the Constitution. Trump was just ridiculous. Trophy wives? What the fuck are you talking about? And then it gets worse because they tried to sane wash that. I mean,
Yeah.
Bloomberg's reporter said Trump talking about the future. No, he didn't talk about that. The New York Times didn't bring up half of what he said.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
what?
it's ridiculous because it was insulting
Well, one of
to
the
those
things he said.
officers.
One of the things he said was that when Joe Biden was in office, not as many people were joining the military, which is ironic because everybody sitting there in that graduation had been there 4 to 5 years and joined while Biden was president. That's how stupid he is.
We are dealing. We have to stop the campaign. The campaign's over.
Yeah.
I know it's part of the grift. I know it's part of the grift. Oh, we're going to talk about grift in a few minutes too. I saw something that TikTok made me almost throw up in my mouth. Um, but it's a talk constantly campaigning, constantly blaming the other side, constantly thinking, working for something, but not addressing who you're speaking to. The
Yeah.
problem with a lot of those military officers is, fortunately, that's the commander in chief. They also know he's a fucking nutcase,
Yeah.
unless you're hardcore. There are a few, I know that, but they know they may be asked to do something unethical and have to make a choice,
Right.
and they don't want to be put there. They
No, they
don't,
don't.
and all they teach you that inside the academies. The academies were taught teach you have gone for, because they learned from the segregation days that didn't work.
Right.
They're trying, and they're showing that, well, one, and the funny thing about it is a lot of the like the DEI stuff, the Hess got rid of, like the clubs and all that, the culture clubs. They're meeting in secret. Their
Right.
reports, a lot of stuff that they told professors not to teach, they're being taught anyway in the background. Because these professors a lot of them are military officers. They're not putting up with this shit. They're going behind their backs, which
Yeah.
made me feel good. But it sickens you to watch that. And then let's add in Memorial Day. The laying of the wreath of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is a very solemn affair. If you
Definitely.
watch the changing of that guard, if you listen to what they do, what it's about, if you watch them bring vets down to do it, those who have been injured, it's touching, it's solemn, it's respectful for all those, because that tomb represents everyone in that graveyard in Arlington. Okay.
Right.
Trump lays a wreath there and then has a press conference at Arlington for the same bullshit with Pete Hegseth next to him. It's
Right.
ridiculous. And they talk the same bullshit, the same MAGA stupidity. Oh, by the way, Pete Hegseth, Trump is not a divine leader. We've never had a divine leader. We don't have a fucking king. Jesus, God Almighty, stop it. I mean, everyone doesn't mind. There's a little butt kissing, but dear God, man, grow a spine. Stop it. It's ridiculous. That's why they don't like you in the Pentagon. They don't like you. They don't like you. Deal with it. They don't like you because they
Donnie
know you're.
doesn't know. Donnie doesn't know when to shut his mouth. He just, like for example, he wants to go after Greenland. You notice he's not talking about Greenland anymore. The reason he's not talking about Greenland because Greenland did the smart deal and did a rare earth minerals deal with the EU, and that's the only reason Donald Trump had any interest in Greenland. So we won't hear about that again. But with the whole Canada thing, Canada continues to push back. Donald Trump keeps throwing out that 51st state. They don't want any part of that.
When did
Uh,
that happen again? I thought he shut his ass about that. When did it
no,
come up
no, no,
again
no.
recently?
It came up again recently. Well, first of all, the King of England said something
Oh,
about
I
it,
saw
about the
that.
sovereignty, the sovereignty. We also know that they have sent senators up there to try to smooth things over with the Canadian government. And then Donald Trump trying to sell his golden dome, trying to throw a carrot out to Canada. He said, "Look, and here's the thing. He can't do that golden dome thing. He's not going to do it anyway. It's never going to happen. But he needs the buy-in from Canada in order to do it because they're right there. You can't just cut it off
Yeah.
just north of Minnesota. So he basically said, if you want to be part of this, and you want to be part of it, of course, because it's a brilliant idea, it's going to cost you $61 billion. But if you become the 51st state, it's going to be free. It's going to be free. So while all these people are trying to smooth over what he fucked up, he's fucking it up again. And they're just getting madder.
But they just, I have no words. It's just ridiculous. That Golden Dome thing's bullshit.
It is
We all,
bullshit.
yeah, I mean, remember the Star Wars initiative from Reagan?
Yeah, which never
See,
really was real.
never worked because they tried a couple of targets, can't do it.
Yeah,
Even with this technology, you can't do it. It's impossible. It's insane. Um, and it's just another grift,
yeah,
another thing for money. And speaking of money, oh, it must be nice to get $1 million to pardon yourself. Jesus
well,
Christ. Criminals.
let's
Fucking criminals. I
the
mean,
worst
long
criminals,
term criminals.
criminals that stole from Social Security, criminals that defrauded banks, criminals that evaded taxes, uh, criminals that committed fraud. These are the people he's releasing. They all went to trial. There was evidence. They were found guilty, and now he's just releasing them willy nilly. But the one thing that does seem to be common in this thing is there's always something that he's going to get out of it. One guy who was stealing from Social Security, his mom went to a fundraising dinner for $1 million, and then all of a sudden he's getting pardoned. The Chrisleys, this reality show, I don't even know
Yeah,
what the fuck
that's
he's
I
getting out
saw
of
her
that.
video just celebrating that. The president called me. Yeah, he wants to make sure the check clears, honey.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah. Well, and the other thing
Jesus.
too is about these pardons. What a lot of people aren't talking about. I don't know which one. Maybe it was the Chrisleys. Maybe it was one of the other ones. But as part of their punishment, they're also uh, supposed to reimburse their victims. But now that they're pardoned, those victims that got fucked in the first place get fucked again.
Yeah.
Thanks, Donald Trump.
I mean, money talks, bullshit walks. How did they get the money to pay him? Is another question. I thought they got busted and they took
Yeah,
their assets, but fuck, who knows? And the thing about it is that I see reports, well, Trump should be investigated. Who's going to investigate him?
right. Nobody.
Of Donald Bundy? Bundy? No,
Yeah,
she's too busy doing her phony baloney bullshit, going after people who hate Christians, I guess. I don't know. There is no Department of Justice. There is no FBI. There is no Department of Homeland Security.
right.
We're out in the fucking cold, people.
There is no
Honestly,
national security. There is no
there's
national security.
nothing.
When people talk about investigations into Donald Trump's crimes, here's what you need to know. The only investigations that are going to happen um, for Donald Trump are going to be in the House of Representatives if the Democrats get control of the House again. There will be investigations there. There could even be an impeachment. But when you're talking about legal ramifications for Donald Trump, that's not going to happen until he's
That
done
ship
here.
sailed. That ship
That well,
sailed
but
with
once
Merrick
he's out of
Garland.
power and yeah, well, yeah, but he's committing so many other fucking crimes that it won't be hard to pick up a couple others on the road between now and whenever he's done. You know, whether he gets impeached or whether something happens where he's physically unable. Um, when he's not in power anymore, as I was talking to Eric, you know, once people step back and turn on Donald Trump, it's going to be a mad monkey dog pile on that fucker. They will all jump over all over him.
I mean, look at it this way. The whole Qatar thing with the plane,
Yeah,
Qatar's not going, no, 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 no. We need paperwork saying that you requested this motherfucker.
yeah.
We didn't give it to you. No, no, no. We need some clarification. I don't know what happened over there, but someone stepped on someone's tail and now all of a sudden they want paperwork. They want paperwork showing we have nothing to do with this.
Well,
Okay?
I think they realized that at some point Donald Trump won't be in control, and maybe a Democrat or somebody reasonable, but will be in control in the U.S. And the U.S. is going to go, "What the fuck, motherfuckers?" And they're
Yeah.
going to hold them accountable for it. So they're trying to cover their ass, is what they're trying to do.
Yeah. And because Congress is supposed to, the whole thing is laid out in the Constitution. Again, judges are starting to bring up our founding fathers did not want this to happen. I've seen a
Right.
couple of things that come out with that. It's in the Constitution because they knew with us being a poor country, it doesn't take much for a rich country to bribe a leader. It's in the fucking Constitution,
Yeah, it's
that
pretty clear.
clause. You can't ignore it, but they ignore the entire Constitution because the Heritage Foundation has basically said, don't worry about it. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
We'll come up with an angle on it. Because there's no, this angle, and literally, if you're a Federalist or supposed to be on the exactly as the Constitution said, read the words. What he's doing is illegal, cannot be done. And sorry, Mike, you're supposed to take care of funding and
Yeah.
handle that. I know you're hiding because you're trying to save your own phony baloney job. And how are you going to go back to your constituents in Louisiana, tell them, hey, you got nothing, but hey, Trump loves you.
Yeah,
I'm getting to that point with a lot of these guys. They're basically, their things going, it's kind of like, I don't have a pot to piss in, but God loves me. I've got
yeah,
that as a guy. They're basically saying Trump loves you because
pretty
there's
much.
such a divinity in this bullshit that makes me ill. It really is. You listen to how they speak about him. It's not even a man. They speak to him as a literally God's word on earth. I don't get it. But
I don't
hey,
get it either
do your
because
thing.
he's clearly an idiot. I mean, just the things he says, these press conferences and these comments he makes, they're absolutely ridiculous. And I can't imagine that all these people that support him don't recognize that, don't see that he's saying stupid shit. I think there are Republicans pushing back. I think they are showing up at these town halls. Whether it's enough of them or not, I don't know. But
Well,
things aren't going well for the Republicans. This whole
but
bill thing is flying back in their
but
face.
it's
Donald Trump is failing.
what's not happening, what's not helping is that we just talk about that. How can you see that and then say, hey, there's something not right? Because the press are still running with Joe Biden is physically incompetent. Hi, Jake Tapper. I saw your act. What the
Yeah, he's
fuck?
a joke. He's a joke.
Why are
I
you
think
bending the knee to Trump? He's not helping you.
I think the Jake Tapper thing and the whole Biden thing is taking a shit though. Nobody's really running
Oh
hard with
yeah,
it. The media's trying, but it's not working.
but Jake Tapper apologizes to Trump for what? For being a reporter?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
that's the thing. Journalists keep thinking that they have to watch this. A press conference in the old days was literally getting up and with a whip and a chair. Okay,
right,
that was your job. Your job was to go after them in a respectful way, but make them give you answers. And your
right,
job on the other side with a whip and a chair was to control the animals.
right.
Um, they're not like that anymore because I've watched these press conferences. I watched them, and they are timid. It's like literally coming up with their hands out, begging for scraps.
But
It's ridiculous to watch the
you
press corps now.
you gotta remember that when it comes to the press conferences that Levitt has all the time, they pretty much handpicked who's going to be in there, and they've gotten rid of the people that they perceive as a problem. That said, there's still those questions coming up. These questions coming up. What do you think about the Wall Street people calling you a chicken? Somebody still brought that up. Somebody else brought something up in one of these press conferences, that same press conference, in fact. Somebody said, you said, talking to Donald Trump. No, this was a different press conference. You're talking to Donald Trump. Um, and this reporter said, you said that if you were president at the time, this war would have never started. And he said, yeah, it would have never started. Vladimir Putin has too much respect for me and all this and that. And then she says, well, if that's the case, how come every time you tell him to stop, he goes harder? It doesn't sound like he respects you. And again, Donald Trump just was flummoxed and was bouncing around and spinning around and diverting and distracting. Uh, these questions are coming through. Uh, Maybe not as much as they should,
Right.
but we're seeing more of it because I think you got to understand the media. The media doesn't really care about Donald Trump. They only care about ratings. And when it becomes a ratings winner to go after Donald Trump, they will fucking crucify him.
It is now. Have you seen
Yeah.
the independent media compared to what they get? It's just
Yeah.
that the corporate people are still scared of Trump. I mean, ABC going to the View and telling the women to tone it down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I bet they did that. No, they
Yeah.
didn't.
I'm sure Whoopi said, yes, massa, I'll do that.
No,
I
no,
bet
they
you
ain't
Whoopi
work.
kicks some ass.
I mean, and like Paramount with CBS because they're so desperate for this fucking merger. They're willing to sacrifice their ethics because honestly, what's their model isn't working. I mean, cable
Right.
news is lost. I mean, MSNBC is a joke. CNN's lost that. The majority of people turning to news is independent, and I ain't
Right.
fucking talk about Facebook. I
No.
mean, the reason that they're coming after Aaron Parnas tooth and fucking nail is because he's saying words and he's speaking just facts, and they can't have that.
Right.
They can't have that. Um, the reason that Midas Touch is getting shit because when you get Katie Fang showing up as part of your network, and she's hardcore, showed up on YouTube and got 1 million people right away, that's telling you something. The corporate masters don't believe it, but they're getting to find out because to them in their head, it's about advertisers. The problem is streaming works differently. And if you're on YouTube, as you know, if you get advertisers in the background, you get something from it
Yeah.
and you get subscriptions, which a lot of these people to Substack and all that, that's a support base.
Yeah.
These
Absolutely.
people don't need them. They don't want the money. Do you think Jim Acosta is making the money he made at CNN? No. But he was the first one to bail and he went through the roof. Don Lemon the same way. The
Yeah.
point being is you're you say, well, it's a ratings game. They support Trump. It ain't. It's not working that way. Ask the Post. Ask the Times.
Well, I tell you
You
what,
know,
one thing some of these people are learning that are leaving mainstream media and coming to this independent media. One of the things they're learning is exactly what Prince learned.
mm-hmm,
Prince was signed to Warner Brothers. He was getting a small percentage of the profits and he thought he was a slave. So he said, fuck it. He was one of the first people in history to say, I'm going to distribute my own records and I'm going to send them out via the internet. And people said, well, you won't sell as many records. He said, yes, but say I sell a $20 album and I make a buck or $2 from the record company, or I sell a record on my own for $20 and I keep 15 of it. I don't have to sell as many records to
nope,
make as much money. And that's what they've got to consider when they're independent media. Like with me, it's just me. With
right,
Acosta, it's just Acosta. He
right,
may not make as much money, guaranteed money in terms of uh, his income, but it's all his. It's all
right,
his. And I got to tell you, if he's got, I was looking at Hawk, and he's got 200,000 followers on YouTube. I got 22, which is
right.
fine. I'm happy with that. But if these guys are getting 200, 500, a million people watching them on YouTube, they're making pretty good money and not
Right.
having to take any shit.
Right.
So it's a viable option for the right people who can gain an audience.
And it's a market. You see,
Yeah.
again, they keep talking shit about, well, we have to do the market. No, you're not seeing the market. You're not seeing it. You're not sabe to it because people are tired of chaos.
Yeah.
You cannot get those numbers from people who were there before. It doesn't
No.
work like that. That's a growing
No.
market. Oh, quick note on market share. Tesla is down 43% sales in Europe in the electric car market. In an electric car market that's up 43%.
Right.
So if you're losing market share in a market that is growing, the business term is you're fucked.
Yep.
Hi,
You're fucked.
Tesla. You made bad choices. That being
Well,
said,
well, yesterday we found out that finally Elon Musk says, I had enough. I'm walking away. I did all I could. And he was an absolute failure. He said he was going to cut 2 trillion, didn't work. Says he was going to cut 1 trillion, didn't work. Says he was going to cut 150 billion, didn't work. All he did is cost this country money. You want to talk about waste? It
yeah,
was
I know.
Doge and it was Elon Musk. And in the process, he sunk his whole fortune because Tesla's dying on the vine. Tesla's not coming back. Even if he quit Doge, people still hate that motherfucker.
Right.
SpaceX, they've had three uh, launches recently, and they all
Yeah,
fucking
booster
failed.
went boom.
They all failed, so that's not going well. And XAI, who even knows if it's doing? There's so many AI options out there. I'm thinking nobody really wants to deal with
And
anything Elon Musk
he,
has anything to deal with.
by the way, in Trump's plan for manufacturing based on AI, you do know what AI stands for, dudes.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence. That means replacing a physical human being to do a job. I mean,
And I'll
he
be
throws out words and people go, "Oh, that's sharp." No, listen, you dumbasses.
well. The
God,
thing about the thing about it is AI is not at a point where it's going to be replacing a lot of people because the shit they put out is okay, is sometimes kind of interesting. Now, I will say this: I was very impressed by the AI. All the AI. I even did one for myself just to see if I could do it. AI with Donald Trump in a chicken suit. Now that was perfect. That was perfect.
God.
But when you look at the writing or some of the videos and stuff, it's getting there. But I can still tell when something's AI.
Yeah. And and the whole chicken thing. You know, it's sad because that's self-inflicted.
Yeah.
The whole tariff thing is self-inflicted. The reason that the trade court dumped it is because you can't call an emergency tariffs on the basis because there's a trade deficit with the country. That's
Right.
just paperwork. That's not an emergency. And
No.
that's what they're finding out is that he just conned everyone and he created this false narrative. Now, here's the thing that before the federal court stayed what the trade court did, and is that even if you get rid of the tariffs, and the Chinese were celebrating it, that kind of pissed them off, is that the damage has been done.
Yeah.
Canadians are going to buy American as long as Donald Trump is in the White House. They're not buying American goods. Canadians are going to buy American goods. The Europeans are saying, "Hell no!" The disrespect you've given us. It's nationwide, and we already made deals with China. I mean, it's fucking over. You
Well, the thing
killed
is,
the business, you motherfucker.
Well, the thing is with China, it's not in that great a shape either because he's so stupid. He says, I'm going to start pulling the visas of Chinese students. Now, China's going,
Oh,
fuck that. We're not dealing with you. We can't count on you. We can't trust you. You keep doing shit to us. China, I'll be honest with you, China and Russia have for years wanted to get in this country and destroy the economy. They've wanted to do it. Now they can do it and not get in trouble for it because Donald
right.
Trump started it. So if you don't think China's going to try to ram it up Donald Trump's ass, you're fucking mistaken because that's
Yeah.
exactly what they're going to do. Now,
And
the only thing
good.
about you mentioned that the court said you can't do the tariffs, and then another federal court said we're going to put a stay on it. And people said, I bet you're upset about that. I go, I'm not really. Not really. And here's why. Because you and I both believe that the only way this is going to get through to somebody is if we have some calamity or catastrophe. If they took the tariffs off, it would still have some damage to be done. But as Barack Obama said, that court may have saved Donald Trump from himself. I think as long as the tariffs are on and we have some kind of economic calamity, that's what it's going to take to get some Republicans to react. And so I don't necessarily want the tariffs off right away and things getting better because then he'll try to take credit for that.
Well, the thing about it is they're not going to buy your goods.
No,
It won't matter. It won't
no, it
matter.
won't matter.
It won't matter. If I mean the Canadians are going to stand firm. I
Yeah,
know that. And you insulted all of Europe. And the Europeans are like going, "What the fuck? Hell, you pissed off the British who left the European Union." Yeah, that was a good
right.
decision, right, guys? But it's just like you just went around the world and said, "I don't like you." Why? Because that's exactly what we saw through this whole thing. And it's all comes down to, again, the cruelty that you see now here on the immigration front is these guys honestly believe that they can make America totally, absolutely white again. Good
Well,
luck. Ain't gonna
not gonna
happen.
happen.
Not gonna work.
No.
And and the thing about it is they keep ratcheting up the cruelty, but like I said before, they're soft targets.
Yeah.
I mean, arresting a woman outside of immigration, that's a soft target. I mean, sending a 4-year-old home, that's soft target. I mean, those people at the immigration hearings, those are soft targets. You have not done what you're going to say you want to do. You haven't. You're going
I
after Harvard. Harvard. You're finding out you don't fuck around with Harvard. Those
no.
guys are dug in now,
Yeah.
and they are highly educated people who have connections
Money.
deep in the judicial system
Yeah, absolutely.
and money. They're not going to play with you because, first of all, Barron didn't get into Harvard. Fuck, dude. A good majority of people don't get into Harvard. Sorry. They didn't want your money because they don't need your money. And also, by the way, Barron probably didn't qualify anyway. Fuck him.
No, no.
And the other point is, you go after foreign students because you want them to violate their privacy because you're looking for crimes to deport people, and you go after Harvard? Are you out of
Well,
your mind?
you know
I mean,
what
go after the University of Santa Barbara. You'd probably be more lucky to do that.
the thing about
God.
Harvard, I was talking to Eric about this, and people will keep saying, well, uh, Barron didn't get in, so he's mad about that. I don't think that's what it is. I mean, it may be part of it, but I think what it was when Donald Trump told them that he wanted all the documentation on disciplinary files on immigrants, and they said no. I think
Yeah.
that's what did it. You don't tell Donald Trump no, because then he's going to come after you and he's going to double down and triple down. So
Why
he's
does the
mad at Harvard.
president, again, why does the president need all this information? Why does Marco Rubio fucking around with it?
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, the point is, these people came in on the visas they're approved.
right,
If you want to track their visas to the core, and once their visa expires and say you get 30 days to get out, I got
right.
you. But if
Yeah.
you have approved visas and all of a sudden you want to revoke them because you need to meet ICE numbers, I mean, again, it's incompetence, it's cruelty, and basically is sycophants to the extreme. Hey, Marco, do you have a pair of balls anymore? I don't think
No,
you do.
he's
They laugh at you in the world as
yeah.
Secretary of State. They
Well,
think you're a joke.
the thing is, Marco's young enough that after Donald Trump's long gone and dead, he's going to want a career, and he's not going to have one because he's either done criminal things or he's an absolute joke. Nobody's going to take him seriously after he's done being Secretary of State and whatever side gig he's got as well.
No respect. That's the thing. There's no respect for any of these people internationally.
No,
There's no, and I know they're saying, well, we don't need that. Well, yeah, the Secretary of State representing the United States in the world, you're supposed to garner some respect. What you garner is jokes. They're laughing at you.
absolutely.
Oh, they are laughing at you behind your back. They think you're a joke. And by the way, that whole Middle East tour of Trump, they laughed at you, brother.
The only
They
people that
laughed
made
you as
money
a
was Donald
joke.
Trump and his family.
Yeah.
They're the only ones
But
that made him money. He claims
but
that there's all this money coming to the U.S., but that's
no.
bullshit.
But they're fine with that. You know, they threw the dog a bone. The amount of money they gave him, that's like, they found that on their couches on
Right,
those kingdoms. They
right.
don't care because he's a useful idiot. And honestly, it's fun to make fun of him. He's
Yeah,
ridiculous. That whole like ceremony they did for him, with the troops, they laughed at him.
yeah.
They laughed at him because they know if it was Joe Biden, they would have been happy to come out the air fryer, and I guarantee you he would have been welcomed very respectfully, and they would have had discussions. They wouldn't have liked the discussions, or there would have been discussions.
Right.
The point is, they don't respect Donald Trump. He is half the time. I think we are in a new version of Dukes of Hazzard. I swear
It
to
seems
God.
like it. Yeah.
I mean, Trump is boss hog. Let's be honest. I mean, whoever his nephew is, Pete Hesketh. Yeah, that
Yeah.
works for me. Kind of looks like him anyway. I mean,
Well,
that look at it. I mean, it's that's how it joke it is.
yeah. Yeah.
Just
It is just silly every time you do it. And when you talk about respect, Donald Trump always claimed that Vladimir Putin had respect for him.
oh,
And
Vladimir
a-
Putin.
and as I pointed out, that he was asked, well, why then does he bomb more people every time you tell him not to? It doesn't sound like respect. He's doing the opposite of what you tell him. So Donald Trump is getting frustrated with Vladimir Putin, and I'm finding this interesting because when you have a guy like him, a narcissist, they tend to go off the chain a little bit, and they will say things they shouldn't say, or say things they don't mean, or say things that they will be sorry for. And when he just recently said, yeah, we think the talks with Ukraine and Russia are going well. No, they're not. Fucking
No,
Vladimir is bombing the shit out of Ukraine, going toward Kyiv. And Donald Trump says, well, I'm getting frustrated with him. He's playing with fire. And we better get something done in 2 weeks or else. Or else what, Donnie? What the
two
fuck you
weeks.
going to
What?
do?
Again, another 2 weeks. What is it
Yeah.
about 2 weeks with you, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, Putin is again. There's no respect. Putin doesn't respect him.
No, he's a
Basically,
joke.
no. I mean, basically, Putin is his pimp. That's your bitch. He ain't gonna respect you.
Yeah.
Just perform.
Yeah.
Perform. Don't talk to me. I got my own shit to do. I mean, that's the point. I mean, that sounds crude, but let's look at it bottom line. We are living in a weird ass crude world now.
Absolutely.
What people there is no in government, there's no sense of decorum or respect. Look at Congress. Those guys are ridiculous. They have no decorum, no respect. They don't care as long as they cut a paycheck.
Right.
That's all that matters. All the government agencies are run by either incompetence or sycophants or just people who are just out of their fucking minds, i.e.,
Yeah.
Robert F. K. Robert F. K. Jr. Um, and it trickles down to society. And I saw a video. I lived in the town of Palmdale, California. I went to high school there. Went there 75. Went to high school there when I grew up. It's a sub where it is. It's in the northern desert above Los Angeles, about 60 miles. It's a suburb of LA, believe it or not. People go there because it moved there because it was cheaper to
Right.
live there and you would drive to go to work. Is that insane? Yeah. Welcome to Southern California, people. But it grew into a huge suburb, a lot of towns. So I'm watching a video, and this in Palmdale, they had a lot of good Mexican food, a lot of good. Some of the first Mexican restaurant. I'm sorry, supermarkets came to Palmdale.
Right.
Vallarta, Gigante, and there were a lot of little taco stands. I mean, street taco, straight up, not Taco Bell, guys. It's not going to be fried. It's going to be, if you know, you know. Simple as that. So this guy has this cart in Palmdale, and it's Mexican food. It's street tacos, and he has a banner with the Mexican flag on. It's not a flag. It's like one of those advertising banners that fly in the
Right.
wind, half off. It's got a Mexican flag. It's Mexican food. This lady comes back around going, "Why is there Why you flying America a Mexican flag?" He goes, "Because I sell Mexican food. It's not a flag. It's a banner. Why don't you have an American flag there?" I'm selling Mexican food because I'm going to call ICE on you. I'm going to get you all deported. And I'm sitting there going, I lived in that town for close to 40 years. I'd seen some shit. I knew the sheriff's department had issues, but
Yeah.
never in my life did I get that thrown at me ever. And it's fun to watch people who are not Mexican go into a Vallarta and order food. And at first, they wouldn't. I remember when it first came out, if you didn't speak Spanish, there were problems. As it got bigger, people spoke English, and everyone who came in was treated the same way. They learned that lesson.
Yeah.
The point being is 40 years in that town, never a problem. And Trump is in power, and this woman felt empowered to say that.
Yeah.
That's what we're fucking deal with every motherfucking day. You saw that Patriot Front walking through, what's it, Kansas City the other day on a
Yeah.
weekend? All right. The mask and whole thing. I seen that act before in Philadelphia. They got ran out. That's why they don't go back to Philadelphia. They know better. But they do that. There's no one there. You notice how they show up and there's no one around and do
Yeah.
that march because they don't want people to see them. But the one thing that crossed my mind, I kept thinking, how many of those guys are working for ICE right now?
Yeah,
Honestly, think
exactly.
about it with all the
Well, we don't
masks and
know.
all that.
That's the problem. We don't know,
That's
and
the
we
problem.
should.
And we can't investigate it until we get rid of this Congress. So if there's anything, and I'm going to again go back to what we're talking about the Democrats, stop with this middling bullshit. There is no moderate voter anymore.
No,
There is
doesn't
no
seem
both
to.
sides to this bullshit. I keep hearing that. And mostly I hear that from right wingers are trying to kind of work their way back. Fuck you. I saw your act. Go kiss my ass. And by the
Yeah.
way, hey, Ray, you're challenging all liberal creators to a fight. I got bad knees and I'm overweight. I still will beat your ass anytime, motherfucker. Come find me because it's going to be real easy. I don't have to last long because I cheat. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's the way it
Yeah.
rolls. That being said, I don't want to hear this anymore because that's the thing. Going back to we started this conversation, why are Republicans so confident in doing what they did? Is because they trust Democrats to do the same stupidity, try to
Yeah.
run the middle, try to see both sides of it. No, if Democrats need to run on simple things, we do not support that hate. We're going to bring back your support systems that you paid for. And also, if you put us in power, we will investigate ICE and the money they're spending. We will investigate where the money is going from Trump. We are going to investigate your money being spent on things that should not be spent.
Right.
We are going to do that for you because you deserve to know answers. This has nothing to do with trans, has nothing to do with culture. They are taking your money and lying about it. And we will find out where it's going. And if they have done wrong, we will put their feet to the fire. We might not get them prosecuted because of the Department of Justice, but we'll make sure they know that everyone knows they did wrong. And if that's not the message for the Democratic Party, if you're telling me that they won um, the immigration um, words or the immigration point, you're full of shit because you see what that point is. It's cruelty, soft targets, illegal deportations to countries they shouldn't be deported to. So
Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike.
these people should have to understand too, if they're committing crimes, and they are, that the statute of limitations is longer than 3.5 years. When this is all said and done, there's going to be a lot of people being investigated, possibly indicted, possibly prosecuted, and possibly convicted. There's a lot of people that don't have the immunity that Donald Trump is alleged to have.
Hmm.
And there's the people around him, the little people
Nope.
around him. They're going to pay the fucking price.
Right. And the other thing is that we're going to talk about, I think we need to talk about protest and all that. There's a lot of shit people are talking about protests.
Can I give you one bit of good
Sure.
news
Good
before
news.
we
Go
do
ahead.
that?
Hmm.
Because this just came in off the wire, as they say.
I remember
For,
those days.
Former New York police commissioner and big Trump humping piece of shit, Bernard Carrick. Remember
I
him?
remember that motherfucker. Yes.
Yeah, he died at age 69. Motherfucker's dead. We can celebrate. One more is gone by the wayside. What I call
Oh.
that is a good start.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Um.
what his
Oh,
problem
they.
was, but I
I'm
hope he
sorry.
suffered.
I'm sorry. Was I'm supposed to feel bad about that? I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no.
Okay,
I
I'm
think
good.
we should celebrate it. You know, it's
There
like when
is
when
there is
when the
a
end
place.
comes when the end comes
There's
for
a place
Donald
in hell.
Trump, people are going to be appalled by how joyous this fucking country is. They'll be
And
dancing in
they
the
talked
streets.
about. I know they were a little touchy about that when
Yeah,
the Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis was
right.
um, revealed. By the way, if you made fun of that or you talked about conspiracies, you're going to burn in hell too. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought one guy made a good comment about God gives you only so much you can handle, and he said, so God gave Joe Biden. He lost a wife in an accident, lost a son to cancer, and had to deal. Now he has cancer himself. Donald
right.
Trump had to worry about bone spurs. Yeah, God gives you what you can handle.
Yeah.
So I get his point. But yeah, there's going to be that people were complaining about, and I remember, I think it was in a live, someone got upset because people were saying, "Well, what if Donald Trump gets cancer? How are you gonna react?" And I said, "I'm gonna make a sandwich."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, and they said, "Oh, how could you feel that way?" Because you guys don't get it. And come closer, okay? I'm not going to root for anyone getting disease or something like that. That's wrong. Okay. But karma is a bitch. So when Rush Limbaugh got throat cancer, I thought that's appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay. When he passed on, I thought hell's waiting for you, brother. Now, with Donald Trump, if that ever happens, because I don't think it will, that I cannot explain that man's body and how he gets away with this shit. Um, I'm not going to be joyous, but I ain't going to care. I'm just going to wait.
Well, see
And I
that
was
that that that's where
good.
you're a better person than I am because I'm praying that he gets ass cancer and it's horribly painful and it's long-lived and he suffers mightily. And I will take great joy in it. You know, maybe I'm a bad person for saying that, but when you do as much damage and hurt as many people as he has, you deserve some retribution. And if he
That's the
gets
thing.
it, I will
Mhm.
love it. I will dance in the fucking streets.
And the thing about it that makes me kind of disturbs me, you have to understand the thing about Joe Biden, his cancer can go quick.
Yeah.
That is not a good situation for him. And my biggest fear, and I brought this up in a video, if he passes away during Trump presidency, I will guarantee it. Trump will try to stop a presidential funeral for him.
Oh, no
The
question.
rotunda, the whole 9 yards. He will stop it. He will
He will
not give
try.
him the honors that he deserves. I know it. I mean, even if Trump passed away, he gets his funeral
Yeah.
because he held the office. But I'll tell you one thing, there ain't going to be many visitors to that site unless it's going to be. The sad thing about it's going to look like a it'll look freaking
It's gonna look like
like a
Mardi Gras.
cathedral. Oh
Uh,
my God, it's gonna.
There's gonna be
I mean,
Mardi Gras around Donald Trump's death.
I'm really, really, really trying not to think that there will be celebrations on that because that's so cruel and unseemly and unkindly. No, fuck it. I'm popping champagne. Motherfuck it.
Yeah,
We're doing it.
exactly.
We're
I'm
bringing it
just
on.
owning it, man. I'm
I
just
just
owning
own it.
that. When bad
And
things happen to bad people,
that's the
that's a time to
thing.
celebrate.
That you own the line from Hamilton, who lives, who dies, who tells your story. That's usually reserved for people like us, like your family is going to tell you good things about you. Also, if you're an asshole, you will get told, people will tell you that you're an asshole when you die.
Yeah,
That's the truth. And so,
yeah,
if you guys see the problem with Trumplicans, they think that everything he is should be respected. No, I'm
Nothing.
not. I'm not going to respect because he's done nothing to respectfully to to be respected. I'm
No,
sorry.
absolutely not.
I mean, he got lucky. He's been lucky all his life. Now he's basically going his way to fuck the rest of us. Nah, screw you. And if you want to feel that way, that, oh, wow, you're insulting him. Oh, wow, you shouldn't be that way. Yeah, but you got to earn some shit in your life.
Yeah.
That
Well,
motherfucker's been given everything in his
you
life.
know, my father, who was similar to Donald Trump in a different way, but similar. Uh, when I found out he died, I knew it was coming. He was getting in his 80s and he wasn't in good health. When we found out he died, I wasn't joyous necessarily because he wasn't really in my life at all and he wasn't doing any damage to me anymore. But I didn't care. I had the police call me up and they're trying to tell me very carefully and compassionately. And I go, look, my dad's 84. He's sick. I haven't seen him in 25 years. I'm guessing you're telling me he's dead. Well, yeah, I'm sorry to say. Look, I expected that would be when I got the call. I got the call. Now, Donald Trump's a different situation because he's in the midst of hurting people every day. And when somebody who is a villain like Donald Trump gets taken out one way or another, I'm all in. I'm happy about it. It's about time.
Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully, how that plays out. But we got sidetracked because it's easy,
Yeah,
especially
it's
when it
easy.
comes to that. I mean, it's. I keep thinking, what brand of champagne? Okay, that being said, all right, moving on.
We were talking about protests.
Protests. So the June 14th, whatever birthday party slash, let's celebrate the Army, 250-year anniversary, is happening, whether we like it or not. Oh, that's going to be investigated later. How much money is wasted on that?
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Now they keep saying that there's going to be protests, counter protest. We don't want a king protest, whatever they're calling it. The biggest thing right now for a lot of people, especially people of color, the black community, is they really are trying to stay away from these things.
Yeah.
And I
I
didn't
understand
think
that.
I didn't think it was a good idea until I saw protests they had in Philadelphia that had black protesters, and police flipped out and started arresting people. Majority of the black protesters were
Right.
arrested. All of a
Right.
sudden, it went from watch them march to they became a danger.
Right.
So I get it. And a lot of things that, and I'm beginning to kind of get the idea. A lot of things that Trump does about, rolling back segregation laws. Yeah, good luck trying to get that to work, though. What business is going to do that nowadays? Yeah, go ahead and do it and see what happens. Yeah, I can do white and black corners now. I'm allowed to do it now. Great. How much business do you have?
Yeah.
They know better. It's a bullshit thing. But the idea is to aggravate people to protest. Because Trump, to an extent, I get it. They want George Floyd protest.
Right.
He wants it badly because he needs excuses. But what I'm beginning to see now, even with these protests, with the majority of people who are white, they go along, they protest, they move on. But it's like he feels like he's running out of time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I mean,
Yeah.
even though they keep pushing, like, well, we'll get rid of habeas corpus. No, you can't do it. The minute you do it, the shit will hit the fan you don't want. Because what are you going to do? How are you going to make that work? Are you going to send people, police into everyone? Because at that point, it's on. We already told you that.
Yeah.
If you get rid of habeas corpus and a police officer shows up at my house, it's on because I'm
You
not
got
going to
nothing to
cooperate.
lose.
Why should I cooperate? You got nothing to lose. So they won't go there unless they have an excuse to go there.
Right.
And I didn't believe in that, but I think what I'm seeing is like the prayer protest they had in the Capitol, those black pastors were arrested. For what? Praying. Again, this is evidence of what they want. So this June 14th is coming out and they keep saying, yeah, we're going to go ahead, do your thing. But if you're a person of color, I would not show up to that motherfucker. I would stay away from it because the thing about it is you don't need to protest that ridiculous sight we're going to see. You don't, because it's going to be ridiculous unto itself. Trump is going to set himself as some kind of dictator. People are going to march in front of him, and he thinks everyone's going to think he's cool. No, we're going to watch him for the fool he is.
He's going to fuck it up one way
It's
or
going,
another.
yeah,
He'll
it's
fuck
going
it
to
up.
be. We don't need to protest that. We just need to sit there and go sit in a seat way back in the back with popcorn and watch it fall apart. It's not the essence of it itself doesn't work because Trump thinks that like he's been to Bastille Day and it works. No, that's not a celebration of the president of France. That's a
No.
celebration of their independence.
Right.
That's a different
Right.
cat. That's how they do it. We do it differently. We use fireworks. We don't do them. You notice that in our 4th of July, in our 4th of July celebrations, very little military. All the years that we've done it, we've been a long time. Have we really talked about the military? No. It's about people celebrating, cities celebrating, fireworks, family, people.
Right.
There's no military involved in that. It's a celebration of the people becoming America. Because let's bottom line it. Our forefathers, again, and I've said this and I'll say this till I die, literally told the greatest empire on the planet to go fuck themselves
Right.
and bring it. And they did. And even with the French helping us, which was okay, but it wasn't, they kept them off our back by the way of sea. We fought them to a standstill to the point they said, fuck it. Okay, fine, keep it. All right, figure it out.
Yeah.
If you look at it, that had nothing to do with the military. That had everything to do with the people of America. Remember, Bunker Hill was fought not by soldiers, but by residents of Boston.
Right. Right.
Residents of Boston fought that battle. You guys, when they use the word Minutemen, you understand the term. Those were not regular soldiers. There literally was a guerrilla fight
Right.
we took to the
Exactly.
British. And the point is, the 4th of July has never been about the military. It's about us.
Right.
Because look at every celebration. Have you ever seen outside of the flags? Have you ever seen a military parade
No.
with never? I've never seen one. The military takes the day off. They celebrate
You
because it's
know,
about people.
the thing is, on June 14th, we don't need a protest. What we do
No,
need is Taylor Swift and Bruce Springsteen to put on a free concert in the mall. That
yeah,
would
put
fuck
on them
him
all.
up.
That would fuck him up. But the point is, it's going to be a shit show. You know, we started this conversation talking about incompetency.
I'm
Can you
looking forward
imagine?
to it because it's going to be
Yeah,
goofy.
you're gonna have Pete Hesketh in this charge of this motherfucker. Oh my god, it's just
They
gonna
will
be.
fuck it up.
They will fuck it up. They're gonna damage something on the mall. Something bad's gonna happen. It's gonna be a shit show. And I get what you want to do. Really, we get it. But I'm more and more every day, even with all the atrocities that they're committing against immigrants and people, that they that it seems maybe it's me, maybe I'm hopeful. They seem desperate. Is
They
it
are
me?
desperate.
They
No, I
seem
think they are
desperate.
desperate. I want to address a rumor that's going around. I've seen it on
Mhm.
TikTok a lot, and I just want to clarify what, in fact, is happening. People were all excited because they heard the Pope was going to come to a Chicago White Sox game, that he was going to come to the game on the 14th of June, which would take all the attention away from Donald Trump. Now, I did some investigation on it. He is not coming to Chicago on June
No.
14th. However, there is going to be a video hookup with the Pope at the Chicago White Sox game on June 14th. So he's not showing up. He's not going to be in Chicago, but he will be on video at the baseball game. So
Oh my!
we know what's
I
happening.
thought when that happened, that was going to be a, a ridiculous thing. What I didn't understand is that that Pope, for the people of Chicago, and I've been through Chicago, my God, that guy's representing you big time.
Yeah,
He is there going, basically taking no prisoners,
right,
telling JD Vance, "Hey, you're a bad Catholic. Get the fuck out of my face."
right.
Um, Talking shit. I mean, that was. I mean, I don't know what happened, but I mean, and the people of Chicago are going, "Yeah, that's us." Man, that man is he is he's doing his office proud, but he's
Yeah,
also showing that no, you don't know who I am. I know where I came from. And that was like, I think that's going to be a big thorn in the Trump administration side because JD Vance got embarrassed again. He got embarrassed.
he
I
should
saw
have.
that.
Yeah,
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 because he tried to do kind of go, do you know who I am, to the Pope? And the Pope's like, and I've got 80 more million people to deal with. You're nothing to me, but
yeah.
another Catholic. Oh, by the way, watch your shit because
Hey,
you're getting on my nerves. And that and that's telling you. Have you noticed that ever since Trump tried to change the world did change, but not the way he wanted.
exactly.
The only place in the world that has not gotten better is Israel because you got their version of Trump and he's doing everything he can to not to we're looking at a genocide in
Absolutely.
Palestine. And to every one of you Palestinian voters, you got what you wanted.
You did.
You got what you wanted, and he is doing what you said the other side was doing.
Right.
They are
And
doing it's did you see that food thing? That's ridiculous. They cut off these people. They tried to starve them to death.
right.
And
Yeah,
Trump's like, eh,
everything they said Joe Biden was doing now is being done by Benjamin Netanyahu. And the reason it's being done is because exactly what I suggested if Donald Trump was going to get elected, he was going to be hands off Benjamin Netanyahu and let him do whatever he wants. And he is a murderous dictator in his own right. So I have no qualms with the Israeli people or the country of Israel. But the guy running your country, like the guy running our country, is a fucking animal, and they
yeah.
need to be gotten rid of. So Benjamin
And they're trying
Netanyahu's just doing whatever he wants. Right.
and they're going to hiding. You think that's going to help you? It's not. They try to do the right thing by the law. You took away the law. Fine, we go on the run. People are going to start hiding people. You can feel there's something in the air in the sense that it's not massive protests. It's just that all the shit they're doing is starting to run out of steam.
Right.
They're waiting. I mean, like this whole bill thing, the big beautiful bill. No, that fucking turd of a bill. That
Yeah.
bill was a turd. It was just designed to give the rich more and the poor less. But you don't have the balls to do it in the open. You have to do it at night. Who does that?
Fucking
People afraid,
cowards.
cowards. And now it's getting to the Senate, and the Senate is starting to feel some heat. Maybe you're right. It doesn't go through the Senate. Maybe it goes back to the House. If it goes back to the House before late, it the shit is going to hit the fan. It's going to be crazy. If they go take Senate back to the House, I don't know what's going to happen. And even Democrats, with their stupidity, are beginning to feel the heat. Just let them, when the enemy is doing something stupid, Let them.
Right.
Don't exasperate it by being Gavin Newsom. Shut
No.
the fuck up and just point out what they're doing. Open the bill and say, hey, look at this. Point out what they're doing. Call out their stupidity and laugh at them.
Yeah.
Because the taco statement was like, we didn't do it. The
No.
liberals didn't do it. That came from your finance bros, dude. People who support you. They called you chicken. I mean, you have to see that when that starts to happen and it gets reported in the Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch's paper,
Right. Right.
shit's starting to figure out, they're starting to figure out this is not working out.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and I don't know, and I'm beginning to wonder that, becoming to the point that their incompetence is basically catching up with them to the point that you can't get any more incompetent and no one's taking you seriously.
And
There's
there's a point of no return. You
no
can't get
return.
it back.
Yeah, I mean they, I mean th- all the stories you see, like with the ATC, they're gonna the vaccines and all that. A lot of it, you sit there and go shit, but then you think about it, it will catch up with them
No question.
because
No
yeah,
question.
I mean, and if we can just keep our heads together and not freak out and overthink this,
I
Democrats,
agree.
and
I
just
agree.
say, hey, look what they're doing. This is what they're doing. This is what we're going to undo for you. And also, we're going to find out where your money is. If that's not your message, if that's not your message, if that's not your message, you should not run for office because because what they're going to come back at you, the culture war. You're spending
Right.
money. I'm not spending money. You're spending money. Where's the money going? I mean, we're following the law. Why aren't you following the law? They can't win the debates.
Right.
I mean, you can't get around entrenched Republicans. They'll vote R whether or not or not. And don't look at it as moderates. All you got to do is say this is common sense. Do
Right.
you want this chaos for another 2 years? Or do you want to find out what's going on and straighten out the chaos? Your choice. How's your
Well,
money
that's
going?
that's what the Democrats have to do. They have to explain what the problem is and how they're going to fix it. That's what people want to
I
hear.
don't think they
They don't
need to
want to hear,
explain it. They just need to go,
well, maybe you're
look,
right. Donald Trump didn't have to.
yeah, because the thing about it is when Democrats start to explain shit, it gets complicated. You
Yeah.
see, the trade deficit works. No, don't go there and go, no, all it means is that you're paying more money and you're not getting what you want. What
Right.
about trade deficits? That's nothing. That's just paperwork shit. Look at your bottom line. Oh, wow. Did I explain that to you? Simple. You see,
Uh,
yeah, people just want bottom line. What's it mean to you? You're going to pay more and you get your stuff.
right.
You're not going to get your stuff. Without tariffs, you get your stuff and you don't have to pay as much, and yeah, what about the trade deficit? That's just paperwork on the back end. It doesn't mean anything to you as long as you get your stuff, right? Right. There you go.
Exactly. You,
I mean,
you just
that's the
got to
thing.
keep
Don't
you got to
overthink
keep it
this
simple.
shit, people.
Got to keep
God.
it simple. Well,
But
I'm going to wrap up the Rational
mm,
Boomer podcast. We're about at that time. I know you got
mm,
other shit to do, probably have to work tomorrow. So I
yes.
appreciate you taking the time today and sitting
Thank
and
you.
talking to us. People always enjoy hearing your point of view. So I'm glad you
Mm,
had the time to do it today.
thank you, sir.
Um, tell people where they can find you because they
As
should.
usual, again, TikTok, Binder38 US. You can find me there. YouTube, same thing, Binder38 US. I don't know what the hell's going on with YouTube, whether they're going to exist again. I don't know what the fuck's going on with them half the time. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Substack the same, but I haven't tended to that garden in a while. Maybe I
Yeah.
should. I don't know.
Yeah, you should.
But the point being is, uh, in the end, yeah, there are days where you just have to take a deep breath. This is my recommendation to all of you every day. Do what I did. The best 4 days of my life was not opening that app, not watching
Yeah.
the news, just catching little bits, listening to Dragnet for 4 days from 1949, which was hilarious because I love Jack Webb, and to listen to them talk about the same shit we're talking about now was
Yeah.
hilarious. Um, but I mean, things like that. Just watch a baseball game. Don't worry about it. Just take a deep breath because I think they are basically huffing and puffing.
Yeah. I
They
agree.
they came on a thing hard and now they're hitting a hill and the rest of us are behind them and just they're going to start falling flat. And at that point, we don't have to do anything but just keep going. And I think, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I think they may actually do what we want them to do, what we want to force them to do to themselves.
Yeah. I
And
tend to
that's the
agree.
message. And if for all the people, and don't get away from the doom guys. The doom guys are just trying to look for it. Understand that you're going to see there'll be days when it's just you got to be kidding me. Yeah, but the reason that you're getting more of those because they ain't got nothing left.
Right.
Keep that in mind, y'all. So
All you can do is
again,
put your head down and keep pushing forward. That's all you can do.
yeah, and
Uh,
look after your own. Always remember around your family, your community, look after your own as much because what you do, as someone said, what you do locally does affect globally. And if
right.
you keep a good eye on your stuff, family, and then and your community, and work toward that, that usually reflects everything outside. So,
Absolutely. Well, thank
all
you,
right.
Will, for coming on. Those of you listening, thank you for taking the time to do that. I hope you have a great day. We will talk to you again tomorrow.